Hi Vinyl community, it's Mike Vinyl Spiral here. And the other day I was watching a video by another Mike. That's Mike PC31, the vinyl policeman down there in the south of England. And what he'd done is he showed his top 10 new releases for 2023 so far. And he showed some absolutely cracking records. There's at least 3 or 4 there that I feel I really need to investigate. But what really surprised me is that only one of the 10 records he showed was a record that I actually purchased this year. And I think that just goes to show sort of how much brilliant new music there is out there. I think 2023 is going to be an absolutely brilliant year. So I thought, well, I'll show my 10. So here goes. I'm not going to rank them. I just show 10 records that I think are the best so far. And I'll start with this one. And this is Oh Monolith by Squid. And this is the record that I own that Mike showed. Now, it's a second album. And the first one, Bright Green Field, was an absolutely brilliant debut. But if anything, this record surpasses that by quite some way. It's absolutely lovely. If you don't know, Squid are from Brighton, and the record itself is on lovely blue vinyl, and it's from Warp Records. Now, they're very hard to categorise. They might be electronic rock, possibly they're art rock. They're a little bit punky. They're a little bit proggy. They just do their own thing. They're very quirky. There's a print here that came with the album as well. So, I mean, just an example of the sort of stuff you get on here. That I think the final track on the album is called "If You Had Seen the Bull Swimming Attempts, You Would Have Stayed Away," and it's an arcane, wonderful track, and it's actually about rats as far as I can tell. And another one, Undergrowth. This is a track about animism. Now, you know, animism is the idea that inanimate objects possess a spiritual dimension. This is a great album. It's an accomplished album by an accomplished band. So if you want to sort of hear more about it, go over to Mike's channel and watch his reviews. So that's Squid and Oh Monolith. Right, so next up is a record I've shown before. This is Modern Cosmology, What Will You Grow Now? And this is a collaboration between Laetitia Sadier, the singer from Stereolab, and a Brazilian indie band called Momboyo. There's 6 tracks on this album, 3 on each side, and they mix French pop, electronica, tropicalia, Brazilian indie, and bossa nova. It's a very sort of heady mix of different musical styles. So sometimes, you know, it's very electronic. You can hear the synths and the mellotrons in there. And at other times, you get an acoustic classical guitar. As I say, it's a fantastic album. It's bound to be in my top 10, I think, at the end of the year. So that's Modern Cosmology and What Will You Grow Now? So next up is a folk album, and this is by a band called This Is Kit. Now, this album's called Careful of Your Keepers, and this is a kit or a project of singer-songwriter Kate Stables. And Kate often performs solo. Occasionally, she's in a duo with a guy called Jesse Vernon. Also, singer-songwriter Rosie Plain is a member of This Is the Kit. And the band itself can be, you know, up to 5 or 6 members. I was lucky enough to see this is the kit at an in-store recently, Jumbo Records in Leeds, and on this occasion it was just Kate performing on her own, apart from a couple of the songs where she was accompanied on recorder by the guy that was driving her around from record shop to record shop. So there's a sort of publicity print as well that I managed to pick up at the store, and it's on sort of very dark green vinyl. Now, this album was produced by Gruff Rhys of Super Furry Animals, and you know, with every This Is a Kid album, there are lots of surprises. You never quite know what you're going to get. It's always folky, but there's always twists and turns in it. And you know, this album's no exception. For instance, a track called Inside Outside. It starts off with acoustic guitar, but then, you know, drums and keyboards come in, and the track takes a completely unexpected new turn. And you know, this is what I like about them. You know, it's a journey into the unexpected. Take You to Sleep. Another example of this. It commences with banjo, and then you get horns introduced partway through, and before you know it, you know, you're very close to free jazz. You know, this album is great. It's a folk album, but it's just so much more. So This Is a Kit, and Careful of Your Keepers. Right then, now for something completely different, as I say, and this is a band from Teesside in the northeast of England. It's their debut album. It's called Nails, and the band are called Benefits. They describe themselves as an issues band. They're visceral, noisy, industrial, punky, absolutely brilliant. If I get a chance to see them live, I'm really going to have to. So the driving force behind the band is a guy called Kingsley Hall, and he writes the songs, does the vocals. Two other permanent members of the band, brothers, Robbie and Hugh Major. And on this album, you've got drumming from Johnny Snowball and Dale Frost. But when they were on tour, the drumming duties were taken up by Kat Myers. And if you don't know who Kat Myers is, she's drummer with Mogwai. She's been in Texas and Honeyblood, and she's a very accomplished drummer. So the album's on the Invader label, and that's a label founded by Jeff Barrow. And Jeff Barrow was a member of Portishead down in Bristol, and as you can see, it's on white vinyl. And it comes with this sort of poster, which is a sort of an anglicised version of Pablo Picasso's masterpiece Guernica, which was, of course, about the bombing by the Nazis of the town of Guernica in northern Spain during the Spanish Civil War. So, at the moment, as far as I know, Kingsley Hall is not a full-time musician. He works in a factory by day, goes gigging by night. And there's a story that they played a gig down in Bristol, and it's about an 8-hour drive apparently from Teesside down to Bristol. So they drove down, they played the gig, drove all the way back, and then next morning Kingsley was back in the factory doing his shift. So there's dedication for you. Um, the, the music itself, as I say, this noisy, visceral, industrial, punky sound um, provides a sort of background to uh, Kingsley's lyrics, and they are uncompromising. Uh, he's very political, um, very sweary. Yeah, if you like a bit of melody, I don't think Benefits are really for you. I think they're fantastic, um, and they're critiquing modern Britain. I think. Well, I know they are. They're critiquing modern Britain. I love it. If you like the likes of Sleaford Mods or maybe Billy No Mates, I think you should give Benefits a try. As I say, it's not for everyone, um, but you either love them or you hate them. I don't think you can ever be sort of neutral about. So that's Benefits and Nails. Right then. Now for something else. This is Teleman and their album Good Time, Hard Time. It's their fourth album. They're an English indie pop band from London. They're a trio consisting of Hiro Amamiya, Peter Catamol, and Thomas Saunders. Up until this album, they've been a four-piece, and Johnny Saunders, Thomas Saunders' brother, was in the band up to that point, but he's left to pursue other artistic paths. So the album itself, it's a limited edition. This is number 349 of 500, and it came with a bonus 7-inch single. This set of stickers and a lovely print that's signed by all of the band. The vinyl itself is particularly nice. Sort of a black and white, black and red split. I think that looks really, really great. So, what are they like? I suppose they're a bit sort of synth poppy. There's a little bit of sort of hot chip, I suppose, in their music, but not too much. And maybe they've got the sort of alt pop sort of vibe of bands like Metromony, but there's all sorts of music here. You've got ballads such as Cherish, and then you've got very danceable tracks like The Juice, which I think is probably the best track on the album. So that's Teleman from London, and I suppose you can say they're an antithesis to Benefits. Right then, next off is these guys. Now, I've not come across them before. This is the second album. It's on Fire Records. They're called Immaterial Possession. The album's called Mercy of the Crane Folk, and it's a brilliant, unusual album. It creates a sort of theatrical soundscape. It's very ethereal. It's a bit folky, a bit dream pop. It's definitely psychedelic. As I say, they're from Athens, Georgia, and the vocals are shared between the guitarist Madeleine Politas and the bass player Cooper Holmes. And also you've got John Spiegel on drums and Kieran Fernandez, who's on the keyboards, clarinet and the flute. It's a wonderful sort of haunting, folkloric, trippy album, and it just takes it to another place. My favourite tracks here are Birth of Queen Croker. I'll show you the vinyl. It's nice green vinyl here. So yeah, my favourite tracks are Birth of Queen Croaker, Medieval Jig, and the title track, Mercy of the Crane Folk. So, as I say, I've not come across these guys before, but I'm really going to have to buy their debut album because this is brilliant. Right, another new band, and this is a three-piece. They're from Switzerland. They're called Alice, and the album is L'Oiseau Magnifique, the Magnificent Bird. So it's an all-female band. There's Yvonne Harder and Lisa Harder and Sarah Andre. Yvonne Harder and Lisa Harder are mother and daughter. Now, they're from Switzerland, and the album was actually recorded in Brussels. And this is quirky, folky, synth pop. So the musical theme, I suppose, throughout this album, it's dominated by very sort of plinky keyboards and three great vocalists. So I would say, you know, this is a mix of French folk music, art pop, you know, minimal electronica, and it's just wonderful stuff. So this is you know, a new band from Switzerland called Alice. Right, now this one, this is a lovely album. One of my favourite electronic bands. This is Craven Faults. They're from up here in north of England somewhere. Nobody knows really who they are. This is a 6-track double album of electronic music. It's called Standards, and I suppose you could say this is a musical journey across the north of England. It celebrates ancient landscapes, and you know, the landscape shaped by the elements, and also shaped by settlement and industry. And it comes with a lovely photo book. If I can get that out on that, here it is over here. So it's lovely book of photographs there. If you can see that. So these are the lovely landscapes of rugged north of England. So you know, the book itself is it would be worth getting on its own. The photographs are absolutely lovely, and the album itself is just lovely. So that's Craven Faults and Standards. Right, now then, I'm recording this on the 5th of July, and it's this lady's 88th birthday today, Shirley Collins, and this is her album, Archangel Hill. This is the third album since her comeback at the age of 81, after a gap of 38 years. Apparently what happened is that Shirley Collins effectively lost her voice. She couldn't sing anymore, and she's you know, she's managed to regain that. But there's such a difference between, you know, the Shirley Collins albums, the last three, and her earlier younger self. But this is an album that it's full of warmth. It's deeply rooted in the Sussex home. The opening track on this is it's House on the Mountain, and it's a lovely rendition of a folk standard. I'll show you the vinyl. It's a lovely green vinyl, and it comes with a lyrics sheet. I think it folds out, does it? Oh no, no. Anyway, there's the lyrics, and throughout it's just an absolutely great album. But I think that the best is saved until last, and that's the title track, Archangel Hill. And what it is, it's Shirley Collins reading a poem that her father wrote during World War II. He was out sort of serving his country, and he longed for home. And the poem here, sort of set to music, is an ode to the Sussex countryside. You know, I've always loved Shirley Collins. You know, she is a grande dame of English folk music, and this album just didn't disappoint. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, so that's 9 albums. So one to go, and again, this is one that I think might end up as my #1 of the year. It's a triple album by The Wedding Present, and it's called 24 Songs. So I've reviewed this before, quite recently, so I won't go into great detail. But basically, during 2022, The Wedding Present released 12 singles in the course of a year, 1 per month, and they've all been brought together now on one album with two or three, no, 4, I think, four bonus tracks, and it's a beautiful album, and as I say, it will be in my top 10. I'm sure it might even be my #1 album of the year. But you know, there's some really good stuff coming up, particularly PJ Harvey next week, which I absolutely can't wait for. But there you go. So that's my take on the best albums of 2023 so far, and thank you very much to Mike PC31 for actually prompting me to do it. So there you go. Thank you very much. Bye bye.